Hi everyone, I'm that cat mommy and I just got done watching the Netflix docu-series Don't F K with cats. And I wanted to do this video because I had a lot of cat mom friends and I saw a lot of people online like, I don't know if I can watch it, I don't know what they're gonna show. Some people were interested in it, some people didn't think anybody should watch it, and so I kind of wanted to give you guys an opinion from another cat mom. So if you are a cat mom or a cat dad and you're trying to decide, should I watch this or not, you would have the information before you started to watch it. Now, before we get into that, I want to kind of cover something that I should probably cover later on in this video, but in case one of you guys decides that you can't watch the video and you stop watching my video on it, I wanted to mention it first because I think it is a beautiful gesture and a way to take something that was awful and honor the victim, and really all the victims, including the animals. And so I had this idea, I was watching it, and maybe I need to say spoiler, I don't know. I figure like, if you're watching a documentary, like, didn't you already Google it and like look up information on it before you watched it? Or is that just me? I don't know. Maybe this might be a spoiler, so earmuffs, I guess. But in the docuseries, and this is in the later parts, Benjamin XU, which I'm assuming is pronounced Exu. I'm so sorry if I butchered your name. I do apologize. But Benjamin is a friend of the male human victim. And he actually speaks, and one of the things that he said to me was, you know, this story is all about this guy, this murderer. And somehow my friend's name gets lost in it. You know, the fact that my friend was a victim, it gets lost in the murderer's story. And, you know, he was talking about how it was devastating to the guy's family. And another thing that he mentioned was that the June Lin, sorry, I had to write it down, June Lin, Junlin, that, you know, he kind of feels like he's getting lost in it. And I don't know where I heard this. I don't know if it was from a movie or a quote or something. If you can let me know in the comment section if you happen to know where this is from, because it's literally one of my favorite quotes, and I can't for the life of me remember where I heard it from. But it says that you actually die twice. You die one time when your spirit leaves your body. That's your first death. And your second death comes the last time the last person that knows you mentions your name for the last time. You die again. And I thought that was beautiful because if you want to remember the people that you loved, you just talk about them. You talk about the memories that they made. You say their name, you tell other people about it. And so they kind of live on through that. And so that's been a belief of mine. And so when I heard him say that, like in the documentary, and I don't know his exact phrasing, but it's something about forgetting his friend and you know, it getting lost in it. And I thought, and then again, he also says in the documentary, his friend had a cat that he loved. And in that moment, it clicked in my head, like how we can remember June Lin is to donate to cat charities, any cat charity you want. You don't have to pick a specific cat charity. You can do, if you go, whatever your favorite cat charity or animal charity is, donate to them in his name, and his name will live on. And I was like, wow, what if tons of people from around the world were just to send $20 to their favorite charity in this guy's name? Like, his name would be everywhere. It would be such a tribute to him. And I don't know if that's what he would have wanted. And I'm not a mind reader. I don't know if that's what his family would have wanted. But I just thought, what an incredible way to honor this man and do something good for cats around the world. So I'm going to be donating to my favorite animal charity in June Lynn's name. And I encourage you guys to do the same thing, to help his legacy live on. Donate to your favorite animal charity in honor of June Lynn. And it's Junlin is how you spell his name. So I wanted to get that out of the way. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about the movie for you guys, because I know that's what you tuned in for. But that was important to me to say that. So the first thing I want to put, when I first saw the trailer, it came into me through my inbox. Netflix actually sent me an email, because Netflix knows I love cats. Netflix knows that I love documentaries because they know everything that I watch on Netflix. And just to give you guys some background on me, I love documentaries. I've seen like so many of them, I can't even count them. And I love cats. Like, love them so much. I have 2. I've had cats all my life. Totally obsessed with them. You know, I mean, obviously I have a YouTube channel called That Cat Mommy. Like, I like cats a little bit. So when I first saw the title, Don't F **K with cats, I thought it was going to be funny. I was like, wow, it's going to be like cats knocking stuff off tables. And if you guys hadn't seen Netflix, this is not the first cat-ish documentary I guess they've made. They did make a full-blown cat documentary about show cats. And I watched that, and if you guys want to know my opinion on that, let me know in the comment section. I can do another video. But so I thought it was going to be something like that, you know, or cats and dogs playing together, or, you know, I don't know what I thought it was going to be. I wasn't prepared for the trailer. So I clicked on it, and I watched the trailer, and I was immediately like, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to think about this. And it happened to be the trailer on Facebook, and I'll link to it in the comments section so you guys can see the trailer if you haven't already. And it actually took me over to, it was on Facebook where I saw the trailer, and there was people commenting on it, you know, you shouldn't watch it. It's what this guy wanted. Other people commenting, I don't know if I could watch that. Did they show animal cruelty? I can't see animal cruelty. And it was this huge debate on whether you should watch this movie or not. So I started talking about it with some of my cat mom friends. And one of them was like, I don't know, said it was like split, but it was like exactly the same thing that was happening on the Facebook chat was exactly the same thing that happened in real life. And one of my friends said, I don't know if I can watch it. And I said, well, I think I'm going to watch it, because in reading the comments, there was somebody, and I don't know who it was, that commented something like, you guys know, this man murdered a human too. It wasn't just that he was hurting cats. And, you know, so and that hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm like, I have watched The Cove, which is about dolphins, and they show some pretty graphic stuff about dolphins. I've watched Blackfish. I've watched documentaries on Hitler. I've watched Ted Bundy, the guy, I can't think of his name right now. Somebody will have to let me know in the comment section. I've watched Helter Skelter, which the documentary on Charles Manson. Another one about the guy, I can't remember his name right now, that had people drink Kool-Aid, and they show a picture, a visual picture of all these bodies from an airplane laying on the ground. I've been to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C., and there's very graphic images that they show you in there. And that comment just hit me, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I can watch it. I don't know if I should watch it. It was a huge conflict for me. And in the end, I decided I was going to watch it because I love documentaries. And I felt like it's kind of like, why couldn't I watch it? I've watched all these other ones. Is it just because I love cats that much? And, you know, somebody else said, well, it's animals and animals are helpless. And that's why you have a harder problem with that than humans. But I thought a lot of humans are helpless. Like a lot of the Jewish people in the Holocaust were helpless. There were kids there, like, you know, so I kind of felt like a hypocrite. Like if I excluded that because of cats. Anyways, I don't know. I had a huge internal conflict on it. And I had a friend and she said, you let me know whether I should watch it or not. And I said, okay, I can do that. I'll watch it and tell you. I said, I really don't think Netflix is going to show any kind of anybody killing anybody on a video. Like I've watched their documentaries before and I don't know if I've actually seen the act. They do show like stuff leading up to stuff and then after a lot of times with their documentaries. But I don't know if I've seen, I don't ever remember actually seeing it. So in The Cove, which is not a Netflix documentary, but it is, I think for some reason in my head, I'm seeing somebody hurting a dolphin, that I did see that. But I honestly can't remember right now. It's been a long time since I've seen The Cove. So after watching it, here's what I have to say if you have that tender heart and you're like, I don't know if I can watch it. Number one, Netflix does not show the actual murder of Jen Lin or of any animals, okay? They do not actually show that. But what they do show is they show the video clip up to a certain point. I would be willing to say there's no animal violence shown at all. Like the guy, and I will not mention his name. That's a personal decision that I've made to not mention his name, and I'll explain a little bit later why. But he doesn't seem to be harming them in what Netflix showed. There's actually a weird tenderness that he shows in at least 2 of the videos. But they do show that. They do show, I made notes, they do show sounds, but there's no, the cats don't sound like they're being harmed. The sound that you hear is the sound of a vacuum cleaner. They do show a cat that is, and I'm trying to be super sensitive in this video, so guys, give me a second. They do show a cat that is no longer living, but they don't show the act. There's also another animal, a puppy, that they do show after the act. There is a yelp of a puppy on one of the clips. And there's actually, it's not just one video that this guy actually did. There is 3 videos that have been attributed to him, and then they show another video, and they never did say if that was connected to him or not. But when I did a little bit of Googling, I don't think that one was, but I don't know how that one came in the mix. Like they kind of explain it, but they don't. So the majority of the cat stuff is it's a 3-episode docuseries. Most of the cat stuff is in the first the first block of, or the first episode, I guess would be what it was called. And that's an hour and 5 minutes long. It's 3 hours and 5 minutes long in total. There's really not a lot of cat stuff in the second one. They do show a little bit in the third one. So the majority of the cat stuff is in the first one. And I'm halfway through this documentary, and even with what they showed, I felt nauseous. I felt sick to my freaking stomach. And I thought at one point in time, near the end of the first section, I'm going to be sick. Like, I am physically going to be sick. And I'm kind of tearing up now thinking about it, because it's not good what this guy did. But I also think, like, we can't be blind. This is not the only person out there doing that. Like, there's tons of people doing it, and they're filming it. And it's on the dark web. Sometimes it's on the the other side of the web. And so, dang, I was trying not to cry. I almost made it. But so what I would say is, if you are a tenderhearted person, and I am to some extent, I just watched documentaries, so I thought I would be prepared for this. If you are a tenderhearted, sensitive person, I don't know that you can watch this movie. I don't know that you should watch this movie, because for the past 2 days, it has really made me think about things. But I think that's what documentaries are supposed to do. Like, a good documentary makes you think. It makes you want to change things. It makes you want to look at things differently. It sometimes exposes you to things that you didn't know about. But I don't think being blind to it is the answer. Like, I think if you can educate yourself on the world and what's happening in it, you should, but not to the point where it's detrimental to your health. And if you are one of those people that, really just can't deal with it, like, it was hard for me. It was very hard for me. And if the other 2 episodes had been like the first, I don't know that I could have gotten through the entire series. So again, they don't show anything, but they do tell what happens. They have the people in it verbally talk about it. So if you're a cat mom and you're like on the fence about should I watch this or not, what I can tell you is if you're hypersensitive to that and you think you might want to watch it on an iPad or something where you have the ability to jump that 10 seconds into the future and get away from some of this, okay? Because it is very detailed. So I did want to give you guys that, kind of that information on it. And so now I'm going to kind of tell you guys what I thought about the movie aside from that, because I did want to give that disclaimer. Some of you guys may not be able to hear some of this stuff. I guess I need to say spoilers because I'm going to be talking about it. So spoilers. So at the core of this movie is not just about hunting an internet killer or a guy messing with cats. This docuseries, it's mind-blowing. It's all over with what it touches on. And at the end of it, you end up going like, your head is like spinning and it's like full and it's like, oh my God, there was so much in that. There was so much in 3 hours. And I think that is actually the brilliance of a good documentary filmmaker. Whoever made the film, like, you're probably going to get an Oscar, because in terms of like just the documentary part of it, taking all the content out, like it did exactly what a documentary is supposed to do. And, still 2 days later, I'm still having a hard time putting all of the different pieces together to even explain it to you. That's how, like, it's just mind-blowing. It is one of the most, the story is just, it has so many different moving parts and it goes so many different places and it has so many different lessons in there. And from a documentary standpoint, from a person that loves a documentary, it's very, very well done. And I believe they tried to be as respectful as possible. And other people might disagree. Like, this is just my opinion. Don't at me with your negative comments, because who needs that? So I'm just giving you my opinion. If your opinion is different, then I respect your opinion. Please just respect mine. Be a nice person. Don't hate me in the comments. Ain't nobody got time for that. So I did want to give a shout out to Deanna Thompson, who appeared in the movie, and as her handle online was Body Moving, and that's a tribute to a Beastie Boys song. And I just want to say, she is such a badass. Like, I found her narrating the story it was like I was talking to my best friend, and I really connected with this woman and what she did, and you see her struggle with her own emotions from this, and the emotions from watching it, and the emotions on what part did she play in it, and did she do the right thing. And for me, I want to say, girl, you got to cut yourself some slack. Like, you did what you thought was right. And we'll kind of get to what she says later on, but there is a part where she really, really hits it in your face with something she says, and I do want to give credit to that. But I just want to tell her she is one smart woman, and I was here for it and here for you, girl. If I'm ever in Vegas, I'll buy you a drink. You don't even have to talk to me. I'll just send it over, because I know it's super creepy, but like, I really enjoyed you. So thank you for being willing to tell your story, because I also realized that when she came out and told her story, like, she's going to get some backlash from that. And because people online can be hateful and mean. So I just wanted to tell you, girl, love you. And I think it was awesome and brave for you to do what you did and participate in this documentary. So, and again, not everybody's going to agree with me. Don't talk bad about her on my page and on my stuff. I don't want to hear it. Go to Twitter. Tell people on Twitter. So there's also another guy in it. His name is John Green. I don't know if that's an alias or if that's really his name. But he isn't as relatable as her. He kind of has what I would call a dry personality. I'm not hating on him at all. I think he would be okay with me saying that. I don't know him personally, but he's very much to the point. Seems very smart, very educated, and I liked him. I liked him as well. But Deanna, or Body Movin', as she's known, it was my favorite person that they talked about that was in a part of the cat group that actually was able to figure out who this was. It's kind of crazy that they could do that. Another thing that they kind of touched on was the fact that there is a scene in the docuseries where you see all these comments, all this hate, and they're directing it towards somebody they think is the cat killer. And it ends up not being that person. It ends up being somebody that has some depression issues and is trying to kind of look like a copycat. And it does talk about all this hate that you see coming at people, and how people, this guy killing cats enrages this overwhelmingly spew of hate to find this guy. And there's a lot of people that hate this guy. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not his biggest fan. You know, I'm not a fan at all. I don't think that I don't think anybody would call him a great guy. But I also think that it shows through the documentary how dangerous internet hate is and how it affects people emotionally. Now, this internet cat killer guy actually, I think, thrived on it. He thrived on the attention of it. And there is a part that they say, you know, well, did I make him escalate this? Did I make him go from killing cats to killing people? And because I was giving him attention. And I honestly, after watching the documentary, after seeing the stuff, I think this guy was, and I'm again trying to be sensitive because I'm not a psychologist, but he had mental problems. Now, does that excuse his bad behavior? No, absolutely not. Because that was one of the things they tried to argue at his trial was, oh, he can't, you know, we can't convict him because he's got mental issues. And eventually they were like, no, dude, you're going to jail for this. But I do think that there is something not right with this guy's mind. And for me, you can't, did he get what he wanted? That was kind of like the big question of it, was like, did he get what he want? Like, there's a movie that is about him, but I kind of take like issue with that, because I don't think that this movie is about him. yes, it does talk about him and it does talk about his crimes, but it also talks about these kick butt, smart pet people who love cats and how they were able to track down stuff. It talks about hate on the internet. It shows in a very, very creepy scene how people can literally upload your photo to a website and they can get your GPS location, the make of the camera, and the date, which I was like blown away. I didn't even know that. Like, all photos don't contain what they call EXIF data, but some photos do. So if you're like me, who takes a bunch of photos, like, you're like, what? Like, I didn't know it was a thing. Like, are you serious? So it talks about that. It also features this guy's mom, who I believe could benefit from some mental health therapy. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, if you watch it and you see his mom, like, as soon as his mom popped up and she started talking, I was like, does she believe this? Is what's she saying? Like, does she get, like, has she read it? Like, what the heck is with this woman? Like, it was super odd, but I thought it was really genuine of the documentary people that made this movie to include her. I do not think that the cat killer should have been involved in it personally, because he would have really loved that. But I think it was at least good, because in a documentary, you do need that other side. And she provided that. Which, if you watch the whole thing, you're just like, okay, that's your side. And alrighty. So she was odd. So it's not just about this guy. And I also think that when you're dealing with people that have, I'm just going to call it mental issues, because I've Googled what they say he has, and there's some controversy over whether he really has that or not. And so I'm not a psychologist. I don't know. So I'm just going to say mental issues to relieve any of my personal feelings about what he does or does not have. But when you're a person that has mental issues as severe as this guy does, and again, that doesn't excuse him for his bad behavior. Like, dude, you still have to go to jail. Go right to jail. Do not collect $200. Do not pass go. Like, you belong in jail. But yeah, he wanted fame. And yeah, he was willing to do some really crappy stuff for it. But can you take what somebody that's like that wants into account when you decide whether you should make a documentary or not? Because there's something off. It's not quote unquote normal. Not that anybody is quote unquote 100% normal, or what the heck is normal anyways. But can you take something like that and you can't apply logic to it? So to say logically, you shouldn't talk about this because you're giving him what he wants, you're applying logic to somebody who is not logical, which doesn't make any sense. So for me, I don't think there was a problem with the movie. Yes, maybe he did get what he wanted, but I don't know if he wants to be in jail. Like, I don't know if that was part of the plan, and that's exactly where he is. And if it hadn't been for these, all of these people that helped get him in jail, if they had just turned a blind eye, I still believe he would have killed somebody. I still believe he would have been, even if he never uploaded a video to the internet, I still believe he would have been hurting cats, because that's not something that you do. Like, that's not like something you do one time, or something that you just goes in you one day and you just do it one time. It never happens again. Like, it's an escalation and an escalation of behavior. So I think whether he put it online or not, he was still doing that stuff in the background. And they said the reason he wanted to do it was because he wanted to be famous. Well, he could have robbed a bank and been famous. Bonnie and Clyde were super famous. He could have made a bunch of at-home porn movies and become famous. A lot of people have made a sex tape and become famous. I know a whole family that's got $1 billion industry right now build around it. Like, there's so many other things he could have done, and you guys are going to say, well, he tried, and then he got some attention with doing these cat videos. Yeah, but again, that's not like there's a lot of people that want to be famous, and they're not hurting cats and killing people. Okay? So, like, obviously there was something else going on with that. So I believe regardless of whether or not he got any attention from it, he would have still done it, and the numbers could have been higher because they were on him. They were on him. They were looking for him. Like, it was like bam, bam, bam. And they got it. I mean, he could have been another serial killer. He could have killed tons of people. So, I mean, that's kind of how I feel with all of that. Let's see. I talked about his mom. I wrote notes for you guys. The internet comments. So one of my takeaways, besides the fact that June Lin, who I do want to mention his name again, I will give him the respect of saying his name. I will not give the internet cat killer the respect of actually mentioning his name. I just don't want to do that. That's how I feel about it. But June Lin, I did take away that, you know, we can all talk about him, and we can all donate money to charity in honor of this man who didn't get to, you know, live his best life, and didn't get to live his most fulfilling life. And since he did love his cat, at least, the victim, again, donating to cat charities is an awesome way to honor him. So that was my big takeaway, and my big, like, how do you take something like this and make it a positive thing? And then let's see, the other takeaway I had was, we need an international animal police. Like, I know every country has their own, like in America, I think it's the SPCA. And I know PETA is an international organization, but this is not the only person making these kind of videos. This is not the only deal with that. And there's really the reason why these people on the internet had to do this is because there's no organization that they could say, hey, this is crazy, we need something done. And because it is international, so you have to, like, work with whatever area you're in. So I think it would be kind of cool if PETA would develop like a black ops internet team. And there's probably some names of people from the Facebook group that hunted this guy down that might be some potential people to hire to do that. But I think it would be beneficial if there was a group of people that looked at these videos, that tracked down information, and then reported it to the appropriate animal people in whatever country that is. I know those animal police are going to be different in every country, but where they could work hand in hand, because there's no bridge that, like, connects those two things together. And it also says in the movie, you know, people that do kill animals do tend to eventually move on to humans. So it is a kind of a thing. So I thought that there's a hole there that somebody needs to fill. And I feel like, PETA, you're an international organization, like, maybe work on that. So I thought that was kind of a cool idea, something that you could take away. There was another part in the documentary, and this is another reason why I say I think he would have killed people and killed animals, and he probably killed more animals than he actually videoed. But there's a part where he sends to I think it's a detective or somebody, and he says there's this other guy who's making him do this stuff, and he sends a list of what the other guy is making him do, and one of them is eat animal parts and have sex with animals. And I believe he probably did that because he wrote it down, and we already know that he killed animals. So, like, it's not a far stretch for me that he would actually be doing that too and just not filming it. So at the end of the movie, and again, this is kind of a spoiler, but Body Movin' or Deanna says this quote, which I was like, this is some good directing, some good directing, some good editing, some good everything on the end as far as a documentary is concerned. So she says, did we feed the monster, talking about the guy who is the cat killer, or did we create it? And she's talking about, like, because they tried to hunt him down, and they give him exactly what he wanted. And I kind of covered how I thought he would have done that regardless of what anybody did. But yes, he is getting attention. And I will say this too, like, a lot of people are calling him famous. Like, that is like, Tom Cruise is famous. Okay. Leonardo DiCaprio is famous. Jack Nicholson is famous. He is not famous. Murderers do not get to be famous. They are infamous. And they also use the word celebrity. He's not a celebrity. Nobody's showing up to get his autograph. He doesn't have a big mansion on a hill. He's not a celebrity. He is a prisoner. Did he get attention for doing bad things? Absolutely. But that doesn't make you a celebrity. Okay, it just doesn't make you a celebrity. It doesn't make you famous. He is infamous, just like Hitler and Jeffrey Dahmer and all of those type of peoples. You know, that was like, really, when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, he's not a celebrity. Like, that's not the right use of that word. So, and again, I think he would have done what he did and just not filmed it, even if none of this happened. So she goes, again, did we feed the monster or did we create it? And then she looks dead to camera, which is normally not something they do in documentaries. So she's looking like this and talking, blah, blah. And then she swings her head around and looks dead to camera and says, and you at home, watching a whole F***King documentary about the cat killer, she mentions his name. Are you complicit? Perhaps it's time we turned off the machine. And it fades to black. And I got chills. And that is why I kind of thought in my head, like, am I complacent? Am I giving him what he wants? You know, I had all these thoughts come up about that. And I'm like, this is the most thought-provoking documentary I've ever watched. And I've seen a crap ton of them. And so anyways, I hope this made any kind of sense. It may be total rambling all over the place, no sense making for you watching this video. But if you do ultimately end up watching the documentary, you may feel exactly like I do, because I kind of felt like this is all over the place, but that's your thought process when you watch this documentary. It's a lot to unpack. So I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's like not a fun topic at all. I do want to say, you know, kudos to the people that made the documentary. Kudos to the people that helped find this guy and ultimately bring him to justice. And I believe that the intent of everybody involved in trying to get this guy off the streets was positive. It was meant to bring somebody to justice. And I think when your intent is a big thing. So to beat yourself up for something somebody else did that was mentally unstable is, I don't think, healthy for anybody. And I hope that people can find peace. And again, donate to your favorite cat charity in June Lynn's name. Let's just flood his name all over the world and send cats some love. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you would like to watch a video that's not quite as deep and in depth and really into some stuff, I've got some really great ones right here. Okay, so check them out. And if you want more content from me, make sure you subscribe, click the bell so you can get notifications whenever I release new content. And if you got comments, I'd love to hear them. Let's try to be respectful, though, and not get crazy, all right? Because I don't mind having respectful conversations with people that have different opinions than mine. I don't like hate I don't think anybody likes that. It's not productive, so let's not do that. All right? So until I see you guys next time, remember to keep living your most perfect life.